Hello. Today in my writing process, I'm going to talk about the fourth draft, surprises, difficulties, and fixes. This has been a challenging month, I have to say. I finally moved into my new place in Kalamazoo, Michigan, after visiting friends and family and trying to find the right place and just making this all work. It hasn't been easy. If you don't know, I was living in Mexico for about 6 months. Before that, South Korea. So the last year has been, jumping kind of from one country to the other. It's kind of a long story. Anyway, through that whole time, I've been trying to write this book. And normally when I'm in this situation, my life is way more stable. So this has definitely been a challenge. This draft in particular has been very hard because it's the part where I'm trying to nail things down. It's kind of now or never, because the next draft will be a dialogue draft where I go through each character at a time, trying to improve their voice, but also adding more character details into these dialogues. After that, I will do a show don't tell draft where that will be the main focus as I read through it again. So I got to get all of these story problems ironed out completely, or hopefully completely. There will be a few more drafts after that, but by then the story will have taken its shape, hopefully. Surprises. Well, there have been many surprises in this draft. One thing that happened that was a major change was I decided to make a secondary character blind. Don't ask why, but it definitely complicated everything. It hit me one day in a parking lot. I was walking across the parking lot and it just struck me and I was like, okay, it's a good idea and it fits with the themes in the book, but then I had to make a big decision because I've already written so much of it. This change would definitely make things more daunting. However, it would also make the character better, and his relation to the others becomes deeper and a bit different. And like I said, it will strengthen the themes of the book as well. Well, because I did this, I had this other character that was a dog. I know that sounds, whatever. But this dog was kind of attached to a different character, and I decided that, well, if this guy is blind, then he's going to need some kind of way to get around. Dog doesn't play a big part in the book, really. It was more like flavor. But I had to move the dog over to him, and of course that changed many, many things. There have also been surprises in other areas. So this is the draft where I lay in bed at night with the lights low and I really get into the nitty-gritty. I start thinking about it more poetically. Doing it this way makes my mind come up with all kinds of possibilities, because in the other drafts I was just kind of hammering it out. Well, now I'm actually thinking about it more, and once I start doing that, then all these things start, popping up. But that turns into a game of what do I include, what do I jettison? And of course, it complicates things more. This is definitely a slower process than the previous drafts. Difficulties. I have had a lot of problems meeting my deadlines. Maybe I should have given myself more days for each chapter. This pass just takes a really long time because I'm rewriting a lot of things, deliberating over words and phrases, reworking entire paragraphs, moving them, cutting things. It's the true writing, really. Everything else before this was like building a frame or a skeleton. I've been really pressing myself to stay on task with all my other responsibilities. Moving 2 times in the course of 6 months was not a good thing, but it couldn't really be helped. But I will say this, every book I've ever written has been a unique experience. This has definitely been the most chaotic writing process though. There's been so much upheaval in my life that has been really hard to stick to the plan. There have certainly been times where I was just like, fuck it, I should just delay this. But that's what every writer faces, this kind of entropy. There's this desire to take the easy way out. And in those times, I just buck up and I press forward and I tell myself I'll get it done somehow. I think this mentality really separates someone who is forever writing their great novel from someone who finishes it. It just does. Currently, I have already entered my notes into chapters 19 to 21. I've been doing this for every 3 chapters. But I have yet to dive into the revision portion of that, and I'm 4 days behind schedule. Now that I'm settling in to my new place, I'm hoping I can get back on track. but time is definitely running out, and Christmas is coming up, so there's going to be all that on top of it. Fixes. So as you can see, here's my process. I take the annotated notes and I insert them into the Scrivener document. This is tedious, but mostly mindless. I also do all the different changes that are needed. I usually do 3 chapters at a time, and then once they're in there, I sit down either at my desk or in bed or at a coffee shop or a library or somewhere and immerse myself back in the story. This is where the real writing begins. Sometimes the details overwhelm me. Depends on the book, really. There's this desire to tell the story, but at this stage, getting the details set is also very important. So there's this push and pull between those two extremes. Sometimes I will get into the flow and some detail will derail me, in which case I'll either make a note or I'll just let it derail me. I try not to get too worked up about this because sometimes these diversions lead to discovery. But some of the things I'm addressing here are smoother transitions, how the scenes in the chapters flow, deeper characterization, adding subtle touches to them, either to their actions or dialogue or to their personal stories, strengthening themes, layering in recurring motifs and symbols. But I'd say I'm more than half done with this draft, and it is what it is. It's not perfect, but it's getting closer. Yeah, I just have to keep plugging away at it. I guess the point is just don't give up. When you get in the weeds, you just gotta keep moving forward. The Christmas season is gonna be a challenge. I know it's my first Christmas back in America too, so there's gonna be all kinds of these different things I'm dealing with and addressing. So there's a little bit of fear there. I'll just have to make it work, I suppose. I'm gonna try and complete this, then I'll do another video on the next steps and what I thought about this draft. That'll probably be in about a month, I guess. But that's all I got for this one. Take care. Have a good day.